Okay, guys, I do have a Saturday morning editorial for you. It's a little late coming because I went and got my COVID test this morning. I'm going to be negative, but in my job, working with the public, I believe I was exposed to somebody that tested positive. Now, when I say exposed, I mean in the same building. So I'm like, ooh, they tested positive. Somebody tested positive. Well, I need to go get tested. It's going to be negative. But then I went to breakfast. I got my salty caramel cold brew, Trenta. Gotta have it. My bird, you're going to hear my bird. Yak, 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 cockatiel. Just won't shut up. I fed, played, gave her water, food, played with her. Yeah, you can tell I'm trying to get through this editorial. It's been a couple of tries. This one is about a family that sued a police department for busting their door in, and it was the wrong place. Took them a little over 2 years to get their settlement. Let's see what it's about. Thank you, Boston.com, for this story. A Brighton family agreed to a $500,000 settlement earlier this month, resulting from a November 2018 incident in which members of the Boston police entered their apartment in the middle of the night, handcuffed the couple and their teenage daughter in front of their 2 young children, and pointed guns at them before figuring out they had the wrong apartment. The Regis family signed the settlement on January 6th, more than 2 years after the incident, and after the Boston police attempted to dismiss some of their claims, according to court documents posted online by Universal Hub. With the family's approval of the settlement, the document must be approved in court before payments will be made to the family. How long is that going to take? Probably another year for them to, and then they finally get their money next year, right? Probably. I don't know. I'm not a big expert on that. Back on November 27, 2018, the couple was living at 41 Faneuil Street, apartment 138 in Brighton with their 3 children, ages 15, 5, and 4, according to the complaint. Around 4:30 a.m., officers arrived to allegedly conduct a raid on a nearby apartment using a no-knock warrant. Suddenly, a battering ram plowed through the family's front door, a SWAT team behind it. Roughly 10 to 12 officers made their way in and began searching the home. When the mother heard the door being broke down, she got up and an officer reportedly forced her to the floor and handcuffed her. Several officers stepped on her hand, injuring her. Police then allegedly pointed a gun at the father, pushed him against the wall, and also handcuffed him, according to the document. When their teenage daughter heard her mother scream, she went down toward the bedroom, was shoved back to her room, and a gun was pulled on her. Her hands were then handcuffed behind her back, even though she told them she was just 15. The 2 youngest children had been sleeping in their parents' bed when everything happened and witnessed the ordeal, according to the complaint. Now, after about 20 minutes, one of the officers told the rest of the law enforcement team they were actually in the wrong apartment. It also notes that the family had given their names to police and the names didn't match those on the warrant and their physical descriptions didn't match either. The complaint said, as a result of the defendant's actions, the plaintiffs have suffered and continue to suffer injury and harm. The plaintiffs have suffered substantial emotional trauma from this incident. During the raid, an officer also allegedly said in front of the young children that the kids would end up in foster care. The mother has missed work and the father feels like he can't protect his family, the complaint alleges. Their teenage daughter has also missed school due to the incident. The complaint reads, the young children continue to ask their parents if the police are coming to get them and if their parents are bad guys, and frequently hide under the bed from the police. Since the incident, the 5-year-old has suffered from nightmares, and his parents have noticed behavioral problems that manifested themselves after the incident. Now, something I want to note here, the father said he feels like he can't protect his family. Well, when it comes to the police, you can't. Because cops can do whatever they want. Doesn't matter. They have badge. They have authority from the state. They can do whatever they want. Just sue us in court. Tell my boss. Make a complaint. I don't care. Of course you don't. Because nothing's going to happen to you. In its attempt to dismiss some of the counts on the complaint, the city notes that officers were looking for a suspected fentanyl dealer with a history of illegal weapons possession. The document notes that after searching the correct apartment around 5 a.m., officers found drug-selling paraphernalia. Okay, so they searched the right apartment, they find drug-selling paraphernalia. How does that justify going into the wrong apartment? Someone explain that to me? Because I don't get it. Limits on no-knock warrants were put into place through the new police reform bill signed by Governor Charlie Baker on December 31st. Under the new law, these can only be used when there's a threat to police safety and when there aren't people over 65 or children in the home, with some exceptions. The warrants need to be issued by a judge. Now they say with some exceptions. You know what that means, right? The warrants can only be used when there aren't people over 65 or children in the home, with some exceptions means erase all that. Forget that. Because you know they're going to make up exceptions. Well, we thought they had a machine gun under the bed. So it's no over 65 and no children. With some exceptions. Grab the eraser. Forget that. You know, you have to learn to read police speak. Yeah, this one pisses me off, you guys can tell. But they're getting $500,000 someday. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Community Leo Watch, watching Leos. That's law enforcement officers, to include idiots in Boston that go into the wrong home and from coast to coast.